What's nice about being a certain age is you can look back. In your 30s, it's go, 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 you know everything. No one can tell you anything. You're empowered. You've been doing it for a whole 6 years. You think you know everything, which I was that girl, and I answered everybody with, yeah, 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 I know. And I was lucky enough to have a big boss who, in a big meeting with my entire team that I worked with, sitting there, and I answered him with, yeah, 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 I know. And he just said, well, you just know everything, don't you? I flushed a beet red. I teared up. I wanted to cry, but the meeting was not over. So after it was over, I cried. And I called my husband and I tearfully said, you know, what had happened, and he embarrassed me. And he said, no, he didn't embarrass you. He taught you a big lesson. But in your 30s, that's a hard lesson to learn because you feel so entitled that you've learned everything there is to know. You might look at your boss and say, I could do what she does with both hands tied behind my back, because in your 30s, nothing is unachievable. You can get fired and find a job tomorrow. All your friends can be resources. Sometimes you're not married yet and life is, you know, a box of candy. You can do anything you want with your life. And I encourage that. I encourage making those changes. If you're not happy at a job or in a career, change it. In your 30s, that's perfectly acceptable. It's doable in your 30s. I think having that support base of either a relationship that's supportive to you, maybe not having money for a month or two, going back to school or taking a class or learning something new. My mother did it at 39. She took evening classes at UCI and learned how to program computers, and one was the premier computer programmers of the 70s and 80s. And this is a woman who had a PhD in biology. So you can absolutely learn new tricks in your 30s. But what I loved about turning 40 is there was this sense of, I didn't have to brag anymore. I legitimately had 15 years of business experience. I looked slightly more mature. I dressed better. I had more money to dress nicer. I wasn't trying so hard. I didn't have to tell people I knew it because I was doing it. I was a senior vice president of business development. I was the marketing director of 2 large shopping centers. I was on TV all the time. I was perfectly trained for my jobs. I was very good at what I did, and told that by my companies, and big bonuses every year. So I guess I was doing it right. But at 40, I was tired of 90 hours a week and tired of not being able to control my destiny as much as now that I was, you know, so mature at 40. And all my girlfriends were, do it, you're amazing. You should get out there and do it. You can do this. And my husband said, sure, you know, give it a shot. So at 40, I make this big decision in the hot tub with a martini in my hand. It sounded so easy. At 40, you're calmer. You still have half your life ahead of you, more than half your life ahead of you. But you have 15 to 20 years of experience behind you. You're the main guy, the main cat, the main whatever you want to call it. And the world is your oyster. You can go, I'm going to do that, and maybe I'll do that. So if you are in a job you hate, 40 is a good year to change that too. The big story, of course, is Ray Kroc at 54 founding McDonald's. You can do it in your 50s. But I do love that I did it in my 40s because I still had all that energy to pour into it and all that desire to work 90 hours, but for me. So I landed a gig at a Native American casino, at Spotlight 29 Casino, as their consulting marketing director. Got to work with our current president, Mr. Trump. He came in as a managing partner of the casino for a while, and I worked one-on-one with him. And then when that was over, which was a natural conclusion, I got to take a year off and not do anything. And I had a great time sifting through what I thought I wanted to be. So when I founded this in 2002, so I was 42 when I founded FG Creative, and this was the perfect step because I had definitely earned the right to set myself up as a consultant, to teach people what I knew and to do the marketing for people. And then the journey from there to here, that's a whole nother story. So I'm having a ton of fun learning this whole new world. If you liked it, please subscribe, and I would love a comment. And when I say I want real feedback, trust me, I can handle it. I want real feedback. If there's something you think I could tell you, I'd love to know what that is.